We are Jen and Ramtin from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Welcome to episode 2. In this episode, we use a quote of Yogi Bhajan's to initiate a discussion about how the subconscious mind can either help or hinder us on our journey to a more conscious and heart-centered life. At the end of the podcast, we discuss one of the most powerful mantras in all of Kundalini yoga, and I share how you can get access to a printable of that mantra that I created. At the end of the podcast, we also do a pranayam that's known for clarity and alertness. So let's jump into Ramtin's live class. I'll be in and out adding some commentary and explaining anything that needs to be expanded on. So here's Ramtin.
I was looking at this quote calendar, Yogi Bhajan. It says here, I'm going to read it to you. 1,000 years from now, humans' reign will be very thoroughly studied. Conscious, subconscious, unconscious will be understood. Then there shall be no disease. Then the unconscious will not load nightmares into the conscious mind, and people will have the nerves to live peacefully. It's all about the mind, what we do here. Connecting to the soul frees us from the duality of the mind. And that's what with the awareness we create within the body and the mind, then the harmony that we create between the mind, body, and the soul, then we connect to our higher self and the spirit.
A student jumps in here to ask about how values or beliefs fit into this connection of the mind, body, and soul. And as she's talking, she gives examples of, if our values were more positive, we might be happier. It might be easier to feel connected. But if we value buying things and consumerism, then we feel less happy. And she ends her comment by asking how the values fit in. Is it from our mind? And are they programmed into our reptilian brain, which is the brain at the base of our skull in the back, where a lot of our reflexes and our instincts for survival are stored. And here's Ramtin's follow-up.
Yeah, it's a very deep conversation about, how it's all come about. Because of the duality of the mind, the good and the bad has to exist. So we've been conditioned to focus mainly on the material, on the objects, on the manifestation, what we manifested, on the body of things, not the energy behind it. And that's why we are lost right now in just duality of life. And that's why the mind goes crazy, because it has a certain capacity, can't go beyond it. And we see ourselves limited.
I want to expand a little bit on what Ramtin is saying here, because when I listened to it, I was just really struck by this idea that part of why we get so frustrated or aggravated in our life circumstance is because our mind is living in this dualistic earthly realm, but our spirit is limitless and our soul is limitless. And so there's a tension between those two. And when we don't spend time actively connecting to our soul, actively connecting to the infinite part that's within us, then we're going to get frustrated and feel impotent at the lack of freedom and the lack of power that our mind can give us. So I wanted to add in my 2 cents and really highlight that one little sentence that he said really packed a lot of information for me. Now we'll jump back into his class where he's talking about the quote he started off with.
Why this quote strike me, but again, I love all his quotes, but I'm a hypnotherapist, and I study the mind, and I work with subconscious mind. And 95% of the mind power is the subconscious mind, which they don't talk about it openly and as much as they should, about the power of the subconscious mind and what it means to us in our daily life. Science, psychology, scientists right now, they're at a point that is not measurable. They just bring it about as a form of question. What if this was this? What if this was true? What if this? If this happens? So they cannot make it factual because it's not as tangible. It's more subtle, and therefore, thus far they cannot measure it. So it's not part of our mainstream science in the medical world and everything else.
I wanted to jump in again to add that many of the medical studies that are done actually do prove the power of the subconscious mind. We just ignore it and call it error. So I'm talking about the placebo effect. Everybody's heard of the placebo effect. They say that if you go to a doctor seeking a solution for a medical problem and they give you the actual medicine or they give you a sugar pill, there's a certain percentage of the population that with the sugar pill will get better just as much as the person given a medication with active ingredient. But they look at that as an error. They kind of try to work the statistics so that that population that is responding with just the sugar pill is neutralized, and so that they can test the actual efficacy of the medication. But my point of view is, why are we ruling these people out? Why aren't we studying that? Because wouldn't that be amazing if we understood more about how people heal themselves with their subconscious mind and with the belief that taking this pill is going to make me heal, and then their body is healed even though it's just sugar in the pill. Like, that seems like it's worthy of research and worthy of getting more information and being able to more thoroughly understand the power that we lie within ourselves, particularly to heal ourselves. Okay, I just wanted to give, again, my 2 cents. We'll jump back into Ramtin's class, and he's again circling back around to the quote.
So, why does it say 1,000 years from now? I mean, he said that in 1992. That's a long time. Why? We are slow to make the progress, and fear is one of the reasons, the main reason. Why do we have fear? Is fear bad or good? If it's bad, why do we have it?
At this point in the class, the students and Ramtin have a discussion about the source of fear. And a student talks about how the fear comes from the reptilian brain, like I referenced earlier, that it was helpful for our survival to be afraid of things that were unknown to us and to things in our environment because we had active threats all of the time. And now you'll hear Ramtin build on that conversation, explaining how fears get programmed into the subconscious mind.
Every day, without our knowing, we are conditioning and reconditioning, programming and reprogramming the subconscious mind. Now, let me ask you, what is meditation? What happens when you meditate? So you relax and you focus on whatever is, if it's Kundalini yoga, you focus on your mudra, on your mantra, on the breathing, focus where you're focusing the eye, all that stuff. You're focusing on bringing your focus, your attention to certain things in the body and the mind. And that puts you in an altered state of consciousness. Your senses heighten, but that focus of the mind brings you in a certain sort of escape, and that's called hypnosis.
At this point in the class, one of the students asks if you get into this meditative mind or altered state of consciousness while you watch TV or a movie, and if that can be harmful for you.
So exactly, that altered state of consciousness is a natural state of the mind. When you meditate, you direct it yourself. You have your conscious, you take it to that state of the mind, and then the thoughts, the visualizations helps you. That's why you focus on the energy moving up, the Kundalini energy. You bring light and color. The mantras are this active meditation. Again, it's an altered state of consciousness, which is a natural state of mind, meaning that it gets into that state periodically without your knowledge, voluntarily and involuntarily. So when you do other activities like watching a TV, driving, reading a book, even having a conversation with someone, you get into that state of the mind. And that's why a lot of zombies are walking around and not knowing that they're in hypnosis. So I asked, when was the last time you meditated for 2.5 hours? Have you ever driven for 2.5 hours somewhere? You were meditating. And guess what? If you were thinking negative thoughts, you were building on the garbage on the subconscious mind. If you go to the movies and watch some action movie full of explosions and destructions and blood and all that, guess what? You're meditating. If you're at work, sitting behind a desk, and you're doing the same routine as you were doing yesterday, your mind drifts away, and inwardly you're complaining and you're stressed constantly about things and complaining to yourself or stuff like that, whatever negativity is around you. Your body depends on your sensitivity as well, how sensitive you are. That's why we have some people have headaches, some people have their elbow hurt, some people have different kinds of aches and chronic pains and stuff in their body, because we all have different sensitivities. So that's the power of the subconscious mind, and it's all for protection and survival. It's not a bad thing. Nothing about us is a bad thing. Fear wasn't supposed to be some negative. It's for our protection. But the exaggeration of that, because we focus on it so much over and over again, it becomes painful. So living consciously, that's the Aquarian age. Consciously living consciously. If you are sensing stuff through your 5 senses, if you're feeling, you're talking, you're hearing, you're walking, you're conscious. But the subconscious mind is doing all the stuff for you. Same time, again, if you get into that altered state of consciousness, then you're rebuilding all this, reprogramming all the negative stuff in the subconscious mind. But if you're staying consciously conscious, what does that mean? Your focus in whatever you are, whatever you're doing, is on the good stuff, on the positive stuff. And if fear comes in for alerting you for something that's negative, you become aware of it. You thank it and you let it go. That's why we're doing that when you did breathing that we did earlier, to become aware of the body. Where do you feel the pain? What emotions you're seeing and feeling. 2 different things, feelings and emotions. The words you use, the definitions you give, the distinction of what is what makes it more clear, because you still have to understand all of this. Spirituality still has to be understood. And once you give it a definition, when you define what it is for you, what it does for you, you could do magic. That's why you from the day you're born till whatever age you are, the modern memory is being developed, the subconscious mind. The memory you have about childhood, that's really what this life script is that you've written for yourself inside the subconscious mind. And we keep rebuilding on that, because after age of 14, between age 9 to 14, there's a filter that doesn't allow anything else to really get programmed unless you get into a hypnotic state. That's the only time you learn again. That's why when you're in that hypnotic state by watching TV for 2 hours and you keep thinking negative thoughts, and all the subliminal stuff that is coming at you don't even notice it, keeps you going back to the same routine, same negative thoughts, same fears over and over and over again. By becoming conscious of it, now it becomes a battle. It doesn't have to be, but if you don't meditate, if you just go on as normal, then it becomes a battle, and life becomes difficult. Depending on your sensitivity, you'll have mental issues, depression, anxiety, and body symptoms that come along with it. That's why he says 1,000 years. You got to start now. It doesn't have to take 1,000 years. If you become aware of it, your conscious awareness of all this, how your system in your body works, your mind works, and your body works, if you find peace with it and you find a harmony and work at it, because the repetition of your meditation, your breathing techniques helps you clear the body and the mind, then we could shorten the time. That's why the karma exists, because that's the goal. That's the path of creation. The longer you take to create that consciousness for yourself, the longer, the more you have to come back and repeat this, because you only have, 100 years the most? But it takes 1,000 years. It doesn't have to. That's what enlightenment is. The awareness that you're here for a purpose, to enjoy life. Whatever your purpose is, wherever you're doing, you're serving the purpose, whether you like it or not. So becoming at peace with that, bringing that harmony and peace in your mind helps it. Helps you reach that goal of becoming the light. And what does that mean to you? You're the creator of your own world. And what it seems more real than anything else to us right now is our consciousness. That's our reality right now. So work with that. Don't escape. Your intention when you meditate is not to escape. A lot of people, when they find, so to speak, spirituality, is escape for them. They get out of reality. That's not what it's supposed to be. Spirituality brings you awareness. The truth about who we are, Satnam. And that's where our meditation is today. Ekonkar, Satnam, Siri Waheguru. True identity. One creator for all, and everything in this world. That's our true self, our true identity. And when you live within that wisdom, it's like living in ecstasy. That's what it says.
All right, I think we need to review that mantra one more time. So the mantra is Ek Onkar Satnam Siri Wahe Guru. And the translation, or the meaning I should say, because the direct translation doesn't exactly capture the full meaning. But what it means is one creator for all and everything in this world. That's the Ek Onkar. That is our true identity. That's who we are as human beings. You, me, that's our truth, like our capital T truth. That's what Satnam means. And then Siri Wahe Guru means when you live with this knowledge, when you fully embrace that one creator created everything in this world, that we all come from the same thing, and that we all have this bit of the infinite within us, then living within that space, within that truth, is like living in absolute ecstasy. And so it's Ek Onkar is one of the most profound mantras that we use in Kundalini yoga. And if you would like a reminder, your own little reminder of this truth, of this mantra, then please visit heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 2. And I created a printable for you there. So it has the Ek Onkar, the saying in Gurmukhi, which is the language that it's in. But it also has the English translation written on it. And it's really beautiful. It's got a elephant in the background. And so it's made so that you can display it, save it to your desktop, put it up in your room, keep it as inspiration to remember the truth of who you are, and indeed the truth of who we all are. We will transition now into our pranayam practice for today. So whether you're sitting or standing, take care to elongate your spine, open up your heart center. You can lift your shoulders up, back, and down. Gently tuck your chin, but lift your crown to create a lot of space in the back of your neck. And then let's take a couple of breaths together, just a relaxed breath. Just bring your attention to the inhale and the exhale, not taking any steps or effort to adjust it just yet. Beautiful. So the breath that we're going to do today brings clarity and alertness. And so to do it, we're going to break our inhale and exhale into 4 separate segments. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to exaggerate it so you can hear it. So you'll inhale in 4 sniffs. And then exhale in 4 sniffs. So the inhale and exhale are both through the nose, inhaling in 4 separate parts and exhaling in 4 parts. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. So continue in your own timing for your own practice. Keep in mind you still want to get a full breath and you don't want to be forceful with it. See if you can have the breath come in naturally. Have it be relaxed. You want to relax your face, relax your shoulders, just breaking that gentle breath into 4 segments in and 4 segments out. If it's safe for you and you haven't done so already, please feel free to close your eyes and you can focus your eyes at the 3rd eye point. Inhaling in 4 sniffs. Exhaling in 4 sniffs. If you did the long, deep breathing with us last time, then you want to keep that same fullness in mind. We want to take a full, complete breath, just breaking it up into 4 separate segments. Let's take 3 more rounds. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Now take a deep inhale, fill your entire body with air. Suspend your breath. Pull up on the pelvic floor. Direct the energy up the central channel of the body, out the crown of the head. If you can, close your eyes, focusing the eyes at the third eye point. Exhale, relax the body, relax the shoulders, relax the face, and relax the breath. Let your breath come in and out naturally. Observe your mind, observe your emotions. Observe what impact, if any, this breathing technique had for you. It is taught that it brings clarity and alertness. See if that was true for you today. And no matter what it brought you, remember that this tool is always here for you. Breathing in 4 segments and breathing out in 4 segments. If you're feeling tired or sluggish, if you're feeling confused, you can use this breath to address that situation. Thank you so much for joining in this practice with me today. And I can't believe it, but this is the end of our 2nd podcast. If you've enjoyed what we've had to say here or gotten even a little bit out of it, please make your way to iTunes to rate and subscribe the podcast. It would help us out a ton. And if you know anyone else who's on this Kundalini journey and would like to learn a little bit more, please share our podcast with them. We are learning and growing and kind of adapting to this new medium of teaching as we go along. And so also, if you have any feedback for us or any questions, please feel free to contact us. Jen at heartcenteredrevolution.com or Ramtin at heartcenteredrevolution.com. Thank you so much. We love you, and may the pure light within you guide your way on.